Hey, I forgot to explain this before I got into actually doing the ranking, but there are some rules. So this is the top 150 Homestuck ships according to AO3. So I chose them from AO3. I do explain that. I did not explain this is single pairings only, no poly ships. Original Homestuck characters only, no hive swap, no reader, no crossover, etc. And I think I explained this, but this is as of November 27th, 2024. So numbers could have changed since then, but that's what this is. Those are the rules. And yeah, and let's continue on with the ranking. Hello and welcome back to Live Laugh Stuck. And I had fun with the last tier list I did, so I decided to do another one. But I'm like, hey, what sort of tier list should I do? And I decided a ship tier list would be fun. I was thinking about maybe ranking like the acts or like just Act 6, but I'd have to remember a whole bunch of shit. But I like ships. I can do some ships. So I did some research and I tried to look at the other ship tier lists, but the other tier lists just kind of suck. Like they either feel like really bloated, or they don't have some common ships that are pretty normal, or they don't have some common ships that are like, yeah, taboo or whatever, but are just like foundational Homestuck ships. So I decided to go through the top 150 ships of Homestuck and make my own tier list. I just recorded a bonus episode where I go through my process of how I did it. It did take me about 5 minutes to remember that I was trying to also make this accessible to audio only. And so sorry for the first 5 minutes, but that is going to be up next week. I think I usually release supporters on Wednesday. I forget. But if you support me for as little as $1 a month, you can get my supporter RSS feed where I sometimes release bonus content. I'm sorry, I haven't been doing that as much lately, and then I've used some of the bonus content as normal episodes whenever I need a filler. But you will be getting that. You'll be getting a breakdown of my process, mostly so I wouldn't talk about it during this one. One thing, Tazrak mentioned that it would have been funnier or better if I had done 151 because it's a Pokemon number. And I kind of considered that whenever I stopped at 150, but I was really in the vibe of doing this, and I would have just gone on forever, and I'd already spent like 5 or 6 hours doing it by the time I stopped at 150. And that was just for the art assets, to be clear. So I didn't want to just do it forever, because then I would also have to record myself ranking these today. So, and then I have to edit it, and I just don't have a lot of time. I'm on a bit of a time crunch, but if I had infinite time, so I might come back and do this later as well. I might add to it. I might keep the 150 and then make a bigger one so people don't have to dedicate themselves to a whole bunch. 150 is already kind of a lot. But they're all down here. The extra one is at the very bottom because I didn't add it to the full thing. On Tier Maker, you can just upload your own, which is neat. It just doesn't get saved to the whole thing. Again, I could go in and edit it and add it, but this is just for us. This is just for us for now. But this is live. I'm gonna have a link in the show notes, but you can go and you can make your own tier list, and you can change whatever. You can add your own. And this is in alphabetical order, so if I wanted it in a more specific order than that, so I labeled the files like, for example, Alpha Dave / Alpha Rose is first, and that's because it is A ! Dave _ A ! Rose. It is harder to get higher than that unless I specifically went in and tried to number these. I could have numbered these by their spot on the top 150, if I had been thinking about it, maybe I will go back and rename all of these, but also it's kind of a pain to go back and rename them. And, and then after you get out of like the top 10, they just will shuffle around more often. Because this is as of November 27th, 2024. So some of these might have been bumped out of the top 150. Some of these might come back in. But in general, these are the top 150 ships with the most works on Archive of Our Own. And because a lot of people don't seem to know this, works, the reason I'm saying works instead of fix is because you can upload, well, you can't really upload art, you still have to host it somewhere else, but you can post your art on Archive of Your Own. You can post audio recordings if you're doing podfics, if you're doing music, if you're doing meta. Anything fan-related is fine on Archive of Our Own. So these aren't even necessarily all fix. These could be, like, anything. I mean, I think they're like 90% all fixed because most people think of it as the fix site. But just so you know, there's a lot of stuff you can do on Archive of Your Own, and I think more people should do it, including me. Like, I could post all my podcast episodes on there, and that would be a valid use of Archive of Our Own. Anyway, so we're just going to do this alphabetically. I really like how this looks. You will get, again, a final tier list linked in the show notes. And you can see how it goes. I put a lot of work into this. At the same, like, it was both a lot of work and it was also really simple. It was just tedious rather than hard, which was fine. So, all that out of the way, let's get started. I did forget to mention, I also have the ranking as S+, S, A, B, C, D, F, which is how I ended on the character tier list. Even though I started with S through F, I ended up adding an S+. Again, when you go through and do the tier list, you can add whatever you want. And at the end, I'm probably going to go back and rearrange some stuff, but let's see how it goes. So we have Alpha Dave, Alpha Rose. That is, I'm gonna say S tier, and I might bump it up to S+, because I really like, you know what, no, that S and S plus is so hard. I might have had it the better way of starting out with S and then going back and putting stuff in S plus, but we're gonna start it out in S. No, S plus. I'm already taking too long on the first one. Alpha Dave and Dirk is S tier. Dave and Aradia is B tier. I kind of like it, but I like it more kind of conceptually than, like, I don't know, anything. Aradia and Equius, and this is specifically regular Aradia. Aradia Bot is also a character that didn't get into the top 150. But so I don't know if maybe there was some Aradia Equius that's technically Aradia Bot Equius. And that's just one of the things. I talk about it more in the bonus that I'm going to be posting next week. But Aradia and Equius is like, I don't know. It's like C for canon, right? Like, it's fine. Aradia and Feferi is D tier. I can only imagine that it's there either because people are trying to find sapphic ships or because it's the lowest blood versus the highest blood. I mean, outside of mutants, but you know. Aradia Tavros, Team Charge, I will give, I don't know, I'll give C tier. I was thinking of B tier, but Aradia, you know, you could view it as romantic for Aradia to summon the dead to torment the person that, you know, paralyzed, like, permanently paralyzed Davros. Like, you could see that. Aradia Terezi, I don't know, they're both like weird girls, but I think that's C tier. Aradia Vriska is, oh my god, I'm between B and A. I think B tier. I might move that up. No, it's A tier. Make or Pay makes that ship A tier for sure. Bro and Alpha Dave, I do like it. I don't know if I like it enough to put in S tier, but it's definitely A tier. Bro and Dad Egbert is, I don't know, it's C tier. I like the fix and stuff people make of it, but I that is fine. I don't really care. I didn't mention this in the bonus episode that I'm gonna put out next week, but like some of these characters don't have a color, right? Like there's no color associated with Dad. So I just mixed up Jane and John's color to get Dad's color, and that's really the one I especially had to do it for because he's like the only genetic, like for real, like normal genetic offspring in this. Bro and Dave is S plus. I don't know what you want from me. Bro and Dirk is S, probably. A or S. I do kind of like it, but I like Fix about it more than I specifically like it. Bro and Grandpa is C tier just because fuck that old man. That's it. That's why. Bro and Jake, it's D tier. It's worse. Dirk Jake. Bro and John is C tier, I guess. Almost B tier just for the like old Homestuck nostalgia of it, but I don't really care. Bro and Mom is B tier. I think that's neat. Caliborn and Dirk is A tier. Calliope and Roxy. Yeah, Calliope and Roxy's also A tier. The Condus and the Psionic is A tier. I don't know. It's so cool how she like has this battery for her ship that she likes enough to extend his life. I don't know. It's neat. Cronus and Dirk is B tier. Is B tier. You know, I don't have a lot to say about everything. Cronus and Aridin, honestly A tier. Like, they deserve each other. It's really great, actually. Cronus and Cankry is A tier. That is influenced a lot by the fix in the art that I've had. Cronus and Kurlos, genuinely don't know why. I mean, I guess it is the top 150, and that accounts for a lot of ships. But like, I don't know, D tier. I don't get it. It's fine. Cronus and Matuna is D tier. I don't know how many F tiers I'm gonna have for this, TBH. Cronus and Porum gets B tier. I really like Cronus. You might know from I forget what I ranked him in my character ranking, but it was probably like A. I like him. Dad and Dave is I'm gonna put him at B tier. I don't know. Maybe it's not quite A tier. It's B tier. B tier is a good place for Dad Dave. Dad and Mom. Dad and Mom's A tier. It's cute. It's cute. It's tragic. What more do you want? Tamara and Kinkry. It's D tier. I don't know. It's D tier. Whatever. Damara and Rufio is C for Toxic Cannon. Dave Dirk is S plus. I don't know. I don't think there's much more I need to say about some of these S plus. Like you know me. Dave Cat is S plus. Dave Petta Jade is. I don't know. Am I gonna? I just think it's A. I just don't think that there's enough established about Jade and Petta or Dave Petta as a character or the Dave and I mean I guess like the Dave Sprite and Jade ship is pretty established. I don't know. It's A tier. And the Dave Sprite Jade is B tier. It's fine. Diamond Droog in Spade Slick. That is B tier, I think. Dirk and Equius, I think is B tier. It's fine. Dirk and Kinkry, which had a lot fewer fics than I thought it did. I think I just got into a Dirk and Kinkry side of the fandom, and I just thought that it was a lot more popular ship than it was, but it's A tier. It's worst Dirk Cat, which is up next in S plus tier. I love Dirk Cat. Don't even come at me. I have an over 60,000 word Dirk Cat fic currently in progress that I need to update some more, but when you release 60,000 words chapter by chapter, sometimes your pacing and shit gets messed up and you have to figure that out. Anyway, it's called Bondless Prince Bloodless Knight, and you guys should find it. Disciple and Signless. I don't know, man. It's like these ancestors. So I'm gonna go on my ancestor rant again that I go on almost every time the ancestors are brought up. And that is that they were retconned into being about the Dancestors. They were originally only used as reflections of the original 12 trolls. So, Disciple Signless was a reflection on Nepeta and Karkat. That's what that was. And then they got retrofitted into being about the Dancestors, and that's just what that is. And so, as such, I think it's kind of B tier. I like Catnap, and I kind of like that in this alternate, like, before time our ancestors got together, I think is neat. Dolorosa Mindfang. This is hard, because I love, I mean, you know me, you've seen some of the ships I've already rated on here. I love toxic ships, right? I love toxic ships. I love toxic relationships. I love, like, fics that are explicitly just, like, exploring those unhealthy, abusive relationships. I mean, to be clear, I also like a lot of fluff, right? I get you the best of both, right? But I think part of the issue with this is that it's, I don't know. I don't want to do the thing where I did in the character ranking, where it's just like I put too much on the fandom thoughts, but it's hard to not have opinions on these based on the fandom and the fanfics and everything else. And it's just an F ship. Maybe some of the fics are nice, but I think this will be my first and perhaps my only F ship. We'll see. Oh, also shout out to I actually have this, you know what, why am I looking this up? I have it in my notes right up here. So I did rip most of the ancestor things and I just made them transparent myself, but before I started to do that, I tried finding them online and I found some of them before I just stopped finding any and just making them myself. So shout out to Vriska Energy and Homestuck Resources for Dual Scar and Mindfang respectively. That's funny, because Vriska Energy did Dual Scar, but I got Mindfang from Homestuck Resources. Vriska Energy might have also done Mindfang, but that was just the first result whenever I was Googling. Because it's very hard to find transparency of these, so and eventually I just started doing it myself. So Dual Scar Mindfang is A tier. I love it. Dual Scar Psionic was just made. You know what? That's probably what Cronus and Matuna was, is just like a reflection on Aerosol. And as Dual Scar Psionic for Aerosol, it's just D tier. There's nothing there. It's nothing. I mean, again, we'll get to Aerosol when I get to it, but Dual Scar Psionic's nothing. Dual Scar Signless could be interesting. I'll put it in C. Aridin Aradia. Do they, like, talk ever? I mean, I assume they talk maybe off screen, but I don't know. It's nothing. Aridin Dave. I don't think they talk either. It's I think it'd be funny, so C tier. Aridin Dirk. I have to imagine it's just Prince shipping. I think that's D tier. Aridin Equius is funny because Aridin is the one person that Equius is just too weirded out by, which is hilarious. I'm gonna put that in C or B. C tier? C tier. Aridin Feferi. I mean, you know, Femi C made a whole song about it, right? And I do love Unrequited, Tragic, Dumbass. So I'm gonna put that in B tier. Aridin Gamzee feels like nothing. D tier. Aridin Kanaya is funny. I have to imagine that this was maybe in some fics that explored, you know, how Aridin mentioned Kanaya ospitizing for him and Vriska, I think, where it might come from. But I think that's a B tier ship. I kind of like it. Aridin and Carcat. I've read some good Aridin and Carcat fics. Whose self-loathing will win? Well, I mean, Carcat has more self-loathing. What am I saying? That's just some of the fics. I think B tier. Aridin and Nepeta. I don't know. There's like nothing there. D tier. Aridin Rose is kind of funny. I'm gonna do B tier. Aridin Roxy, I actually do want to see, even if it's just like wizard shipping. I might bump this down. I might bump Aridin and Rose to C and Aridin and Roxy to B. But right now, Aridin and Roxy is going into A tier. Aridin Solix is a classic A tier. Aridin Vriska, I'm also pretty into A tier. Feferi Equius. Is that like anything? Why do I feel like that's something? I don't know. Feferi and Equius. I'll put that in C tier. I don't know. It feels like something. Feferi and Carcat. I don't know. D tier. Feferi and Vriska. I think that could have had some potential. I'll put it in B tier. Gamzee and Dave. I think that could be interesting. I'll put it in B tier. Gamzee and Equius. I'm a little biased because I did write a fic that was a poly ship between Gamzee, Equius, and Tavros. So I have thought a little bit more about Gamzee Equius. I'll put that in B tier. Gamzee Carcat is A tier. Gamzee Curlos. I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a lot of Curlos thoughts. I mean, you saw that in the character ranking video. I don't know. It's D tier. It's whatever. Gamzee Tavros is classic A tier. Gamzee Terezi. I don't know. Like, it's not that I hate how it is in canon. I just don't get it as much, you know? We just don't see enough of it on screen, I think. So that'll be C tier. Grand High Blood and Signless. I think I'll put that in C tier. Hal and Dirk is S plus. Hal and Roxy is S, I think. Jade and Aradia. I think that's B tier. Maybe B tier. You know what? I'm gonna bump Aradia and Feferi up to C tier because I was thinking about Dream Bubbles and they could do Dream Bubble shit together. Jade and Dave. I don't know. It's B tier. Jade and Feferi. C tier or B tier? I don't know. Jade and Kanaya. I mean, they do talk. I think it's a lot of space shipping, but yeah, they can be meddling buddies in B tier. Jade and Carcat. I kind of want to put it in A tier, but I think honestly it's a B tier. Jade and Nepeta would be cute, I think. Nah. Oh, I mean, Jade is a furry. I'll put that in B tier. Jade and Rose. I'm so sorry, Jade Rose shippers. I don't get it. I don't get it at all, except they are two girls in the Beta Kids. They are the two Beta Kid girls. I don't get it. I don't. That's a C tier for me. I don't know. I don't get it. Jade Roxy. Jade Roxy's either a B or a C tier. I think C tier for now. Maybe I just don't have enough Jade thoughts. Jade Terezi is a C tier. Jade Friska is A tier for real. I think there should be more. I mean, I could also read some Jade Friska stuff that's out and see what that's like. Jake Dave. I don't know. Jake Dave is D tier. I don't know. Jake Dirk. I'm sorry, Jake Dirk likers. I'll put it in B tier, but that's just because I think they are a foundational relationship for them both to have and then break up. I think they should date, learn some things about each other and themselves, and then break up. And maybe it's a messy breakup, and maybe they still have some learning pains to go through. And I just cracked my knuckles while I was talking waiting until I stopped, so we'll see if that picks up. But I don't know. I don't like them long term, but I do think that they are in a sexual relationship. Jake and Roxy. Part of the issue is I am very much on the aromantic Jake train, so it's hard for me to get down with a lot of Jake ships. That is not anything negative about Jake. That is just I just don't see him in long-term like romantic relationships at all. So Jake and Roxy is going to be a C tier. I think that'd be a pretty messy relationship. Jane and Dave is funny, so it's B tier. Jane and Dirk is pretty cool. Like yes, Dirk's gay. I'm not caring about any of that for a ship tier rating, right? Ships are ships. It's whatever. It's little paper dolls to put together and see how they would be in these scenarios, right? So Jane and Dirk, I'm gonna say is a B. Jane and Gamzee, a C. Jane and Jake, terrible. It's a D. Jane and Roxy, I don't know. Jane and Roxy, where would I put them? Legitimately difficult. I'm gonna do a C for now, and I might come back to it. I'm in between C and B. John Dave is S plus. John Dave Sprite. I'm gonna say S for John Dave Sprite. I think there's some potential there, but I just think they have like a rockier relationship than John and Dave, which could lead to it being better than John Dave. But right now it's S tier. John and Dirk. That's between S plus and S. I think I'm gonna be honest with myself and say S. John and Gamzee. I don't get it. It's D tier. John and Jade. I do really like John and Jade. I'll put that in A tier. I mean, that's one of the things, right? Is that Dave and Rose and John and Jade weren't originally related. Those two pairs were just so similar to each other that people kept shipping them, especially Dave and Rose. And then suddenly, like, again, I don't know how much this is like true 100%. I'd have to go back, and if Dami was editing this, I'm sure she'd have some actuallys to throw in here. But like that's from my understanding, that's either one of the reasons, or it seems to be one of the reasons that Jade and John and Dave and Rose were made to be related as kind of a troll on the shippers. So like, yeah, I like John and Jade. Not that I need to justify again my my incest ships, my shipcests. I definitely have plenty of those anyway. But I mean, I'm just saying that there's some justification for John and Jade. Like John and Jake, I think I like their name, their ship name, Fisticuffs, more than I necessarily like them together. I think they're a C. John Cat is S plus. John Rose, I actually really like John Rose. I'm gonna put that as an A. John Roxy. Honestly, John Roxy's kind of a C for me. I just don't think they have. I think Roxy just saw the first eligible bachelor and got attracted, and I don't know. I'm not really into John Roxy. John Resi is S? S plus? S. We'll say S. John Vriska is... You know what? John Resi and John Vriska are both S plus. Kanaya Fairy. It's a D. I don't get it. Kanaya and Carcat is cute. I'm going to put that in A. Kanaya Terezi. I don't really get. That's a C. Kanaya Vriska is an A. Kankri Carcat. It's kind of fun. I'll give it a B. Carcat Equius. I've read some good fics for. I'm going to put that in a B. Krillos Kankri. I don't get it. It's a D. Oh, there's a dog barking. Cool. Latula Kankri is pretty classic. I'm gonna have it in a B. Mina Arania is S tier. Mina Carcat. Is that S or A? Yeah, I'm gonna put Mina Carcat in S tier. Mina Vriska is S tier. Mulan Kurlos is C tier. It's fine. Mindfang Red Glare is A tier. Mindfang Summoner. Yeah, I think it's neat. That's A tier. Matuna Kankri is D tier. Matuna Kurlos is D tier. Matuna Latula is C for canon. Miss Paint Spade Slick is C. I don't know. It's in the top 150 ships, I guess. I said Mulan. Nepeta Dave. I don't know. B tier. Nepeta Equius. Nepeta Equius is yeah, that's you know what? That's S tier. Nepeta Equius is S tier. Nepeta Feferi is C tier. Nepeta Gamzee is D tier. Nepeta Carcat is A tier. Nepeta Terezi. Nepeta Terezi is A tier. Porum Arania. I think that's A tier, yeah. Porum Cankri is A tier. Psionic Signless. Yeah, that's B tier. Rose Dave is S tier. Rose Kanaya is S plus. It is the OG. It is the ship of all ships. It is the foundational ship of Homestuck, and I will hear no arguments. Rose Carcat, I would love to see fics about, but I think it is I think it's C tier, to be honest. Rose Roxy is, I don't know, honestly pretty B tier. Rose Terezi is A tier. I was between A and S for Rose Terezi. Rose Vriska. I think that's S tier. Roxy Dirk. Oh, I thought. Oh my god. I should have looked at this. I wouldn't have made the one I made. I would have made a different one. So I was trying to make my 151 something that wasn't like another, taboo ship, just another incest ship that I like. Just to like, okay, here's your reward for 151. Um, my thing that, not everyone who listens to this is into and is like extremely not into. But there's no Dirk Rose. There's no Dirk Rose on here. Okay, this is gonna be 152 because I am gonna make Dirk Rose to put on this. I'm making Dirk Rose. Let me see what that is. If it's Dirk / Rose or Rose / Dirk. It's Rose / Dirk. Yeah, Rose / Dirk. Okay. So you guys get to see my process. You get the sneak peek that I was only giving to supporters. But we need Rose Dirk. No, I think I need to add both of them. I think if I just add one, it'll override it. Yeah. Oh no, it didn't. Whoops. Okay, well, there's just going to be an extra Jade Resi. I thought that it would, because it says 2 files selected, so I thought it was going to override it. Okay, Roxy Dirk. I don't know. So, like, on the one hand, I think, again, I like tragic, toxic ships, and I think the whole push and pull between Roxy and Dirk, of Roxy being into Dirk and Dirk being gay, and it's like this is the one thing Roxy wants that Dirk is unable to give to her. And I do like the extra twist if Roxy is trans, so Roxy and Dirk both have to be true to themselves, and if one of them wasn't true to themselves, they could be together. I like that a lot. But I don't think I'm into this ship that much, so it's getting a C tier. Rufio Horus is D tier. Silix and Radia. Yeah, that's an A tier. I know you can't see the whole top now. There we go. You should be able to stay seeing everything. Solix and Dave is A tier. Solix and Dirk. You know what? I think Solix and Dirk could be good, honestly. That's A tier. Solix and Equius. D tier. Solix and Feferi. I don't know. C tier. I know it's canon. C tier for canon. Solix and Gamzee is D tier. Solix and John is B tier. John says just for like a second that he's really into hackers, and I think it'd be funny. And that's just what gets it a B tier, I guess. Solix and Carcat. I'm thinking A or S. But A. No, I just put it in B on accident. A tier. Solix and Roxy. I hadn't really thought about, but they're both like computer people, and I read like one good fic with them. So I'm gonna put that in A tier. Solix and Terezi. I wasn't here for the Solix Terezi phenomenon. I wasn't like, I was here, but I wasn't like in the fandom. So it's going in C tier. Spade, Slick, and Snowman is honestly S tier. It's classic. And now officially you can't see all of them on the same screen. And I'm not doing all the shit I did before. Tavros and Dave. I think they have like fun interactions. I just don't know if, like, I get it. I just don't know if that's enough. For like a full on ship, right? And like I like them together. I don't know if I like a ship enough. Yeah, so that's gonna be C tier. Tavros and Equius. I don't really get, I guess, C tier. Tavros and Vriska. I think B tier. Terezi and Dave, I think, is S tier. Terezi and Carcat, honestly, also S tier. Terezi and Vriska. Okay. Here's the thing. You know what? I'm gonna make more ships. I'm gonna make more ships. You guys are gonna see this in action again because I have just there are two very different Terezi Vriska ships. So, okay. And we will make a, what's it called? Is it just called Terezi Remember? Whatever. I'm just gonna call it Remember, right? This is the Remember ship. Terezi Vriska Remember. That's one ship. And then we have Retcon. And that's another ship, right? Okay. So I'm going to save that till the end. And then this will go to the end because it's a spare. Vriska Dave is A tier. Oh, A tier. I think it's neat. I do need to write a whole essay about Vriska Dave and Dirk, and I might be convinced to add Jake into that based on some conversations I've had. Vriska Cardcat is A tier. Jane Rezi. So this was the one that I was originally gonna put on to have the 151, and I chose it because I don't think it's like one of Dami's top ships, but she made like a fic about Jane Rezi, and then now she can't find it or something. So when I try to think of like ships, that's not in the top 150. I just picked Jane Rezi, right? Simple as that. I was just trying to pick one. That wasn't catered to me specifically, even though this is my show, but you know, I gotta be nice. Jane Rezi. Because, like, it could be, like, detective stuff, right? Like, you got a detective and a lawyer, and they can both, but, like, the lawyer also does, like, detective shit, because that's how it is. You know, fucking Daredevil and shit. Daredevil doesn't do detectives. Whatever. You know what I mean. Jane Rezi is going to get a B. Rose Dirk is S+. I love Rose Dirk. So, even though, like, Dirk is canonically gay, and Rose is, I forget if Rose is word of mouth lesbian, but I definitely like, at the very least, like, headcanon her as a lesbian, but they are an S+ ship for me. So here we go. Remember Rose Rezi. The Remember version of Terezi Vriska is S tier. So this is, the Remember is referencing to the end where original timeline Terezi and original timeline Vriska, both dead versions, find each other and get together, and that is the S tier ship for me. Not S+, maybe because I think the fandom is a little overblown about them. I might bump that up to S+, actually. I don't know. I'll be doing the rearranging here in a second. And then Retcon vs. Rezi is F. I hate Retcon vs. Rezi. It's not even really canon. Like, I mean, they're canon, like, because, like, this is, and I had to re-record, or I will have to re-record, or record an extra part to put at the beginning and explain what this is. But this is specifically slash ships. This is not, as AO3 has it, and ships, which is like platonic relationships. This is about their platonic relationship. This is about, like, romantic and or sexual relationships, right? The thing is like, you can get into the argument about, like, how, yes, technically all the quadrants for trolls are romance, right? That's not how we treat them, right? People treat Retcon vs. Rezi as though they are mate sprits and not Morales, right? And they're shit Morale ship. Like, it's actively not even really beneficial to Vriska necessarily. It's more like a I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the way the fandom talks about it. I think the fandom actually likes the Remember Resi, and they are projecting that onto the Vriska and Terezi that are alive. I go on this soapbox every time, and I will every time, because, you know, maybe someone didn't watch or listen to the other episodes. So it is here. Retcon Resi is F tier. Remember Resi is S tier. Or did I take an S plus? It's currently S tier. And normal average Resi, I will say it averages out to a B tier. So now is the time to check where things are and switch them around as need be. Dave Bro, I'm bumping down to S. John Terezi and John Vriska, I'm bumping down to S. And I'll give a whole spiel at the end. Terezi Cardcat, I'm bumping down to A. Terezi Dave, I'm bumping down to A. Bro Dirk, I'm bumping down to A. Mina Carcat, I'm bumping down to A. Rose Vriska's bumping down to A. Yeah, remember Resi is bumping up to S+, I think. Aaron and Roxy, I'm bumping down to B. Solix Dave, I'm bumping down to B. Now looking at the beads. Bro Mom, I'm putting in A, I think. You know what? I'll put Dave Sprite Jade in A. And Diamond Stroog Spade Slick in A. The Fairy Vrisk is bumping down to C. Gansy Dave's bumping down to C. Jade Aradia is going down to C. Jane Dave's going down to C. Now the C tier. Gansy to Resi, I'll put up to B. John Roxy, I'll put into B. Partially because they're the only originals from before the retcon. Kanaya Terezi, I'll move to B. Okay. That is it. That is my final. So S+ tier. God, I don't think I'm gonna go through and name all of these. I'll do S+, S, and S+S, and then F, I think. And you can just look at it yourself, because this is a lot to name. And I'll have the link in the description. S+, Alpha Dave, Alpha Rose, Dave Dirk, Dave Carcat, Dirk Carcat, Hal Dirk, John Dave, John Carcat, Rose Kanaya, Rose Dirk, and the Remember version, the pre-retcon version of Terezi and Vriska. S tier, Alpha Dave, Dirk, Hal Roxy. I surprised myself at Hal Roxy being there, but really, Hal Roxy is there. Yeah, Hal Roxy is there. John Dave Sprite, John Dirk, Mina Arania, Mina Vriska, Nepeta Equius, Dave, or Rose Dave, Spade Slick, Snowman, Bro Dave, John Terezi, John Vriska. You know what? I'll do the A tier too. Aradia Vriska, Bro Alpha Dave, Bro Dirk, Caliborn, Dirk, Calliope, Roxy, Condis, Psionic, Cronus, Aridin, Cronus, Kankri, Dad, Mom, Dave Sprite, Jade, Dirk, Kankri, Dual Scar, Mindfang, Aridin, Solix, Aridin, Vriska, Gamzee, Carcat, Gamzee, Tavros, Jade, Vriska, John Jade, John Rose, Kanaya, Carcat, Kanaya, Vriska, Mindfang, Red Glare, Mindfang, Summoner, Nepeta, Carcat, Nepeta, Terezi, Porum, Arania, Porum, Kankri, Rose, Terezi, Solix, Aradia, Solix, Dirk, Solix, Carcat, Solix, Roxy, Vriska, Dave, Vriska, Carcat, Terezi, Dave, Terezi, Carcat, Mina, Carcat, Rose, Vriska, Bro, Mom, Dave Sprite, Jade, and Diamonds, Droog, Spade, Slick. And then F tier is Dolorosa, Mindfang, and Retcon, Terezi Vriska. And yeah, I'll link the link to my final thing, and I'll link the actual ship tier. I mean, you could find it from just the final thing, but and I'll link that in the description.
Thank you to Dami for composing the theme song and editing the episode. You can find more of her work at soundcloud.com/DominoThief. Shout out to our Fakest Fan tier supporters, Danny the Spoonlord and Tezrak. You can become a supporter and receive early episodes and bonus content for as little as $1 a month over at ko-fi.com/jaxyaks, or simply give a one-time tip. For information on and links to my other projects, head over to jaxyaks.com. Thanks again for listening.